My name's Jeff Parton. I'm the author of Life's Choices. This book's all about the way I see life, and it's an autobiography too, so I'd like to read you a little chapter. This book's full of funny little stories. Some of them are sad, but most of them are funny. Anyway, we were on a farm. We were brought up on a farm, a chicken farm in Terry Hills in New South Wales in Australia, and in the 1950s. And life was pretty hard then. There was lots of work to do. We used to grow everything. All our food was produced by hand. We had one delivery a week from the grocer. And in those days, the bread was also delivered. And I remember the baker had a little van with just two doors at the back. And when you deliver the bread, in the back was a basket of bread. And the bread was just wrapped in tissue. And that's how it was. There was no sliced bread or anything like that. But that's how it came. Anyhow, my father, as I said, had a chicken farm. And the chickens used to run, today they call them free range, but in those days they were just outside, and they used to go into little sheds at night time. And during the day they'd wander around picking up whatever they could, plus they had a food trough where the food was made and fed to them, and they also had a water container, which was a tall thing about yay big, and it had a little trough around the outside, and as they drank it, the water level would go down, so they always had a bit of water in the trough, but without overflowing. So anyhow, I'll read the story. This is called The Baker. One day, a neighbour came to the house to use the phone. This is because all we had was, we were the only ones in the area that had a phone, I remember. While turning his vehicle around, he accidentally ran over it and smashed one of the chicken water troughs. Knowing my father's reputation, he slung it into the bush in order not to be found out, because my father was a wild man. Some days later, my father found the water trough in the bush, squashed and damaged beyond repair. After some thought, he assumed that the only person who had come to the farm recently had been the baker. In those days, bread and milk and groceries were all delivered to the house. When the baker came the following week, my father was waiting for him. I was probably about 5 at the time, but I can remember the whole scene. When the baker pulled up in his little van, I was playing in the dirt nearby. The baker got out and went to the back of his van and opened the two small doors where a large basket of bread was. He was preparing the bread that was in the bread basket for the delivery when my father went for him like a madman. The baker ran around the van and tried desperately to climb back into the driver's seat, at the same time trying to lock the doors. By that time, my father had the baker's crank handle in his hand and was waving it about wildly, accusing him of running over the water trough that he had found squashed in the bush, and shouting at him to get out and fight. The poor baker had no idea what was going on, just wanted to get the hell out of there. He managed to lock both front doors and was trying to start the van. My father was still trying to rip the side door open. Not having any success, he decided to go to the back doors that were still open. He started to pull out all the baker's bread from the big basket and also grabbed his money bag. They used to wear little leather money bags in those days on the side of their waist. He tipped the basket of bread out into the dirt and then went through the money bag, taking out the approximate cost of the water trough. He then slung the bag and the balance of the money out onto the dirt and kicked all the bread around until it was ruined. By that time the baker had got his van going. He was not about to get out of the van to retrieve his basket or his money bag. The last thing I saw was the baker speeding down the old farm track in his van with both back doors swinging uncontrollably, with my father still running behind him. The baker, needless to say, never returned. Later we found out that a neighbour had run over the water trough. Not the baker. It just goes to show how anger can get in the way of rational thinking. Left brain thinking, they call that. Anyhow, I just thought I'd read you that little bit so you can get a taste of what is inside this lovely little book. You'll enjoy it. Pick up a copy, pull up a chair, and have a good read. Thank you.